Hello, I'm Kent Burrell.
Hi, and I'm Natalia Burgos, and today we will be doing a therapy session with our client Ralph, and we'll be going over all of the different techniques we'll be using. Okay, so let's get started.
Today we'll be addressing Ralph's career dissatisfaction. We'll be using the integrative approach combining rational emotive behavior therapy and solution-focused therapy.
So, just a little information about Ralph. He's a 47-year-old father of four. He's married. He's been a longtime manager of a department store chain. And he attributes most of his problems to his job. He says he hates his job, it's not challenging, and he gives himself two options, either to leave the job or to stay living for a stinking pension, is how he words it. He definitely has a fear of failing. He's afraid that he'll let his family down, that he won't get a new job, or he'll end up unemployed. And he definitely strongly ties his identity to his work, saying, "Who would I be if I couldn't work?" Some of the questions that we'll be asking Ralph to challenge these thoughts are, who would you be if you didn't work and if you failed at finding a new job? And do you view others as failures if they don't succeed at first? And then if not, why yourself? We'll also be wanting to know if maybe he can find fulfillment through extracurricular activities. Maybe get involved in a cause, get involved in his community, take up projects at home, or maybe even return to school.
For a little bit of a summary on Ralph, Ralph feels trapped by the work that he's been doing for many years. He feels like he only has two options, to stay or to leave, and these create a heavy burden for him and paralyze him to take any action. He fears if he makes a change that he will fail, and by failing, he will fail his family. He says about his kids that they expect him to see them through college, and his wife boils it all down to midlife crisis. His self-satisfaction, way of measuring his life's value, as well as his decision-making, seem to rely on factors outside of himself rather than those within. One of the models of therapy we'll be using, along with solution-focused based therapy, is rational emotive behavior therapy. While this is a good fit for Ralph, he sought out therapy to find a way to free himself from feeling trapped by meaningless work. He is looking for a solution, and the teacher-like approach of the therapist would be an appropriate match since Ralph chose to go to therapy on his own. REBT also addresses self-talk, which will help Ralph to stay conscious of what he's thinking and telling himself on a day-to-day basis. Knowing that Ralph is looking for more immediate results, the pace of REBT would be a good fit for him. It would allow him to make his decisions in a timely manner. REBT encourages homework. Such homework would require Ralph to think consciously while not in therapy and keeps what's discussed in therapy relevant. The other approach we'll be using, our integrative approach, will be solution-focused brief therapy. Rolf has chosen to go therapy for him by himself, meaning that he is competent and aware enough to take the first step in correcting what he feels is an issue in his life. The use of guided questions will allow the therapist to really pinpoint what is causing issues in Ralph's life, and the feedback provided to Ralph will reinforce the cognitive homework and make sure that he is motivated and encouraged while in this time of ambivalence.
Okay, so some of the techniques we'll be using from rational emotive behavior therapy. One of them is disputing his irrational beliefs. So he holds the belief that without work, he is without identity. The main question we'll be asking is, when you see others fail at something, do you deem them complete failures? And if not, then why would you be a complete failure if you failed? We'll also be assigning cognitive homework. So Ralph should keep track of times when he questions his worth and satisfaction with life based upon his work situation, as well as if such thoughts come up at other times. A record of what happened just before the thoughts arise should be kept track of to look for patterns. New thoughts should be exercised at these times. We'll also be using emotive techniques, which are teaching the value of unconditional self-acceptance. We'll really be doing this throughout the whole therapy. We'll just be kind of reinforcing this kind of self-acceptance for Ralph. We'll also be using the behavioral techniques of recommending research and doing research on causes and community organizations that he finds interest in and see how he can get involved. By doing this, he's introducing a new behavior, and this encourages him to take action. The techniques we'll be using from the solution-focused brief therapy, we'll be using brief therapy change. So we'll be asking the question what he's done between making the appointment and now that he's noticed a difference in his problem. And this will help to further emphasize Ralph's power within his situation. Just by making the appointment, he's already actively working towards change, even if he doesn't realize it. We'll be using the miracle question. By asking this question, we get a better understanding of what he's looking for, and he too can begin the process of experiencing positive change just by imagining it. We'll be using a scaling question before and after the miracle question, and by rating his levels of anxiety before and after from the scale of 0 most anxious to 10 least anxious. This will help Ralph begin to start paying attention to what he's doing that's creating these feelings. We'll be using the formula first session task, which will be more of a homework assignment. And this can be used in conjunction with the research homework assignment, and this way Ralph can become aware of changes already occurring and shows him that change is inevitable. Hopefully this will increase his optimism and offer hope about his present and future situation. And the therapist's feedback to client, which is the complement, bridge, and suggesting task, this is basically what we'll be using to lead up to suggesting the research assignment and the formula first session task.
Well, let's begin.
So, Ralph, now that we've talked a little bit about the types of therapy we'll be using, I'd like to point out that just by making this appointment, you're already actively taking part in your therapy process.
Awesome.
So tell me, what have you been doing, what have you done between making the appointment and today's meeting that you feel is helping you in your current situation?
Well, actually, I started researching local organizations that I could maybe be a part of, but I quickly got discouraged and I stopped before I found that I really liked or grabbed my interest. To be honest.
Well, it's great that you started doing research and looking for things outside of your job that you find are captivating your interest. But what I'd like to know is what happened that made you feel overwhelmed in that situation? Was it a thought or did something happen?
Yeah, the same thoughts. I started thinking again in my life, and I felt like what am I doing? Here I am wasting my time looking into something that probably won't even work or won't work for me.
Right, so you mentioned these feelings at the beginning of our session when you're explaining your situation.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, when you see, or if you see somebody else fail, do you think that they're a complete failure?
Um, well, no, I guess not. No.
Right, so then why would you think that you would be a failure?
Well, well, that's true. But I feel like my family will be disappointed in me if I fail. Like, if I fail, I won't be able to improve it. I won't be able to provide for them if I fail something new. I will have made the biggest mistake of my life, leaving my solid job.
Those are very troubling thoughts, definitely. So let me just ask you, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the most anxious and 10 being the least, how anxious do you feel right now thinking about this situation?
Oh, I'd have to say about a 1.
A 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Ralph, I'd like to try an exercise.
Right now?
Yes,
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
I'd like you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Okay, and imagine you're going to sleep tonight. And while you're asleep, in the middle of the night, a miracle happens. The miracle happens and all of your troubles are gone. Your problem has been solved. Now, you wake up in the morning, and how do you feel?
I feel relieved. I feel like I can breathe. Like, I feel confident. I feel energized. Start my day. I feel like the old me.
Great. So confidence, energy, relief, very good. I noticed you took a deep breath when you said breathe easy. I'd like you to do that again. It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so now on a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate your anxiety now?
I guess about a 4.
Okay.
About a 4.
Great, that's an improvement. That's a pretty good improvement.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so Ralph, I think we've covered a lot. You've taken a big step in just coming here today, a big step for you personally. What's even better is you have a clear idea about what's bothering you. And what I'd like you to do from now until our next session, and you can do this in your head or you can write it down in a little notebook, is to observe, just to observe, and so that you can describe to me next time what's happened in your life between this session and our next one that you would like to see continue to happen.
Okay, what exactly would I be observing?
Positive interactions, positive experiences, no matter how small they may be, also your thoughts. For example, if you're at work and you experience negative thoughts, like I feel like I'm stuck here, try replacing these with more positive thoughts, like I'm going to do the best I can while I'm here.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. So this will help keep the positive thoughts, it'll keep me positive throughout the day?
Yeah, this will definitely begin to help you practice positive thinking,
Oh,
which, yes, will lead to more positivity in your daily life.
okay, awesome. That sounds good then.
Great. And you also mentioned you had already begun researching local organizations. Is that something you would like to continue to do?
Yes, I would. I would really like to find out what really interests me.
Okay, great. So, how about this? How about finding one organization that's of interest to you, calling them, and finding out what opportunities they have? And that's it. Just finding out the opportunities for employment and or even volunteer opportunities.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Okay, great. So I look forward to hearing about what you've discovered at your next session.
Awesome, thank you.
Great, you're welcome.